In this video, we'll look at the men in Angie Dickinson's life. With a career spanning 6 decades, Angie Dickinson is a star in every sense of the word. She starred in countless movies and TV shows, starting with Lucky Me in 1954, all the way up to her most recent film role, 2009's Mending Fences. Angie has also dated, nearly married, and married some of the most successful and recognized men in Hollywood. Her first marriage was in 1952 to a football player named Gene Dickinson. It's from this marriage that she got the name Dickinson, which she used for the rest of her professional life. Prior to that, she was Angeline Brown. Angie and Gene divorced in 1960. A pivotal role for Angie was in the 1960 film Ocean's 11. She played the wife of Frank Sinatra's character, Danny Ocean. She and Frank dated, and by 1964 were close to getting married. But Angie said that his late-night lifestyle was not for her. She said she didn't want him to ask her to marry him because she didn't want to say no to Frank Sinatra. Interestingly, in 2001, Angie made a brief cameo in the remake of Ocean's 11 starring George Clooney. Angie shared the screen with many leading men including Gregory Peck, Marlon Brando, James Mason, Glenn Ford, Robert Mitchum, Kirk Douglas Lee Marvin, Telly Savalas, Dick Van Dyke, James Garner, Rock Hudson, and William Shatner. Many years later, in the 1980s, Angie dated Glenn Ford. She co-starred with Ford decades earlier in 1967's The Last Challenge. She also co-starred with Ronald Reagan years before he became President of the United States. The 1964 movie, The Killers, was the only time that Reagan was cast as a villain. This was President Reagan's last film role. Angie played a femme fatale, and in one scene he viciously slaps her. For years after, he would apologize to her. He was uncomfortable playing the villain, Dickinson says, and only did so to fulfill his contract. By 1965, she married again, this time to the award-winning composer-producer, Burt Bacharach. However, she kept the name Dickinson from her first marriage. They had one daughter, Nikki, in 1967. Angie declined many roles in order to focus on the care of her daughter. She and Burt divorced in 1980. Angie was once offered a role in a TV series that would also star Johnny Carson. While the series never materialized, Angie became well known for her appearances on The Tonight Show. It was here that Angie ad-libbed a famous remark. Johnny asked her, "Do you dress for women, or do you dress for men?" Angie replied, "I dress for women. I undress for men." Her chemistry with Johnny Carson was undeniable. And they dated for a short time. When asked who broke it off, Dickinson replied, "Things happen." At one time, Angie was involved with the director Richard Brooks, famous for such films as Blackboard Jungle, In Cold Blood, and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. At one point, the two of them went off on a tramp steamer together. Angie recalled, "We wanted to be alone, but after 3 days, we couldn't stand each other. Richard stayed in the cabin and wrote a script, which he then won an Academy Award for. And he didn't even thank me," said Angie. That script was for Elmer Gantry. Angie's biggest secret was a supposed affair with President John F. Kennedy. She has denied it, and if she had, she never once talked about it publicly, taken advantage of it, tried to use it to boost her celebrity, or said one word to detract from the dignity of the presidency. Or, as Sinatra liked to say about Angie, how wonderful it is to meet a lady who's a gentleman. Angie has always seemed to prefer men of action. David Jansen, the brooding, hard-drinking star of The Fugitive, was, according to Angie, a great gentleman, a great date, and a great love. While on the set of Wild Palms, Dickinson found producer-director Oliver Stone highly attractive. "He's so magnetic, it was unnerving." She calls it the John Wayne syndrome, that quiet presence. Thanks for watching this look back at the men in Angie Dickinson's life. Please like, share, and subscribe.